Every week was so wild, especially going into the last season, because the show was had such fandom and it had such scope, and it was building up to like this wild ending. So for people that don't know, like you take like an episode a week, or unless you're cross-boarding and then you're doing two episodes in a few weeks or whatever. But every week it would be like, okay, you go down the set and it's an entire like prom, but like not prom probably like we did, like prom with like production designers and multi-million dollar budgets and whatever. And then you go down the next week and it's a maze the girls are trapped in, or like a haunted house in effect, or like there's so many crazy plot things happening that it was such a dynamic set.
Yeah, how are you able to prepare for an episode going into the writer's room? Was there anything that you kind of needed for yourself to be able to make sure you like did a good job in there?
Great question. Going from PA to the writer's room, I'm getting like anxiety now. It's definitely a little heart racy because like if your dream was to work with animals and you're working at a zoo, but you were selling peanuts, and then all of a sudden somebody said like, well, today you get to go into the cage with the tiger. Like you're like, oh great, that's my dream, but oh now I'm in the enclosure with the tiger. Oh my God, what does this actually mean? So I'd gotten to work with some writers' rooms, for some writers' rooms, in like a writer's PA capacity and writer's assistant capacity before, and it wasn't always. It's like anything else. It's good and bad experiences. Um, so that PLL one, I was just hoping. I love the people so much. It just felt like a big opportunity, and I just wanted to not mess it up. Which, um, for that job especially, and maybe for many jobs on set, I don't know. But like, despite how outgoing I can be and chatty I tend to be, it was really like go in there, be humble, be quiet, learn the ecosystem of where you've just been invited into, and figure it out as you go. And I was very fortunate that, unlike some other rooms I got to be around even after that, it was just such a gracious, inviting, warm place, even when there was, disagreements. But that's what the room is for, is to iron out the plot. You're going to sit back and wait for your moments. And they were so gracious. They gave me moments. And then by the time we were wrapping that show, like you know, I really got to like pitch in and help, and they would have me, um, you know, help with outlines, and well, that was part of my job too. But like, I got to write like some digital exclusive stuff. You just get to help. And when there's if you have your wits about you, and they're gracious enough, like they will let you, when there's those moments of like, well, what do we do in this sticky plot moment, that you can pitch. And sometimes your pitch gets across, and then you really feel like you made it,
A lot of people, producers, and that I've met that interview people to join these crews, they always say that, the personality is one of the main things they look for because most of the things they could be teachable. So
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they're nice to be around and they blend well with the team you already have, that's the biggest step to landing the job.
yeah. I got to shout out DGA award winner Chris Robinson, and now very good friend, because he was the UPM along with Allison Dykstra and Jamaica Goodrich Elliott now, that gave me my first job in TV. To your point, when really like as PA, but like there's no reason to bring me in. I didn't have any experience or anything, but I appreciate Jamaica having worked with me when I was in the mailroom at Paramount, and she was a page, and then like Chris, who I'd never met before, just like seeing me in an interview where I think my arm was in a sling, like I'd done something to and whatever. But he's just like, I like the vibe, and like the rest we can teach. And if he didn't take that flyer on me, who knows if I'd even be? Oh, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. We wouldn't have met, like so. Yeah, it really. You appreciate the people that appreciate people.
Yeah, no, that's a great group that you brought up. I mean, that's one of the early teams that I got to collaborate with. We were on
Right.
Sullivan and Son, and then Fuller House later.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris was a person that I was always able to turn to when I was pursuing, for example, my Vallero project. I was able to
Yes.
take it to him. Hey, what do you think?
Mm,
And it was really cool to have somebody at his level, at his caliber, to be able to give me feedback and to be honest, to know, because I think this would be beneficial to a lot of young people. How did you make the jump from being a PA on Sullivan and Son and then landing a role, a job on Pretty Little Liars?
yeah. So, man, that was because, and this is where like fate just comes into play. The things you can't control sometimes bring you the best things in your life, like especially me, a writer, I'm always trying to like plot my own way, and life has a way of showing you where you actually need to go. So that is to say, in season two of Sullivan, yeah, we were in the same we were in the same building for and floor for our production offices as PLL was, and they were on the other side of the hall, and they were kind of like the real show, like they've been at it for a long time, a lot of success, and I felt like we were like Animal House or something sometimes, like goofing, which is mostly me, but I was able to build relationships just by coming up the stairs together, just by being like, oh, you have the conference room booked for your production meeting then, well, we're trying to have a table read, like all those little negotiations and just those brushes of humanity that when, my time on Sullivan was done, uh, I was just fortunate that PLL had an opening for PA, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like, come on in. Like I still had to resume and interview and all that stuff, but because they'd already seen me carrying groceries and loading paper into a copier, they knew I could do it.
And right now, you're currently freelance writing and you're a creative. So you were able to work on the Joe Biden campaign in 2020. And
Yeah.
then you worked with LeBron James on his project for Nike and Space Jam. What
Yeah.
is, how did the Pretty Little Liars job help you uh, lead into these type of jobs?
Yeah. So that's another crazy, like you can't predict anything. You can't always create your own way. Sometimes the way is created for you. It was 2017 or 18. I hadn't worked in a minute on a show. Things were really slow. I was quickly running out of money, and it's like, what in the world am I gonna do? And my best friend that I met when I was like 7, and we're still besties. He's a writer too, but his career track was like marketing and ad world and creative directing and that type of thing. And he was like, "Look, it's a complete shot in the dark. I don't know if they'll even reply to you, let alone you getting the gig. But I know some guys up in Portland that have this big new Nike project, and they're looking for people with not just traditional copywriter background. Like they're looking for people to come into that world that aren't necessarily of that world because they want some like fresh thinking. So